God is one. God is three. And God is also a diversity. They are together in, on, everything, but each fulfills a specific role. And I know that's hard to wrap your head around, but here's how I like to think about it. The Father dreamt up everything. In the Father's divine imagination, he dreamed up this world, this universe, and you and me, and all the good and beautiful things in it. And now the Son reveals the Father by sharing that dream, by exemplifying it, by redeeming it. And the Spirit is the guarantee, God's active power in the world that will make sure the Father's dream for this world comes true. Now, sometime in the 300s AD, as the church was trying to sort this out, they began to use a metaphor to describe the inner workings of the Trinity. And the Latin word they used was perichoresis. You want to say that with me? Let's try it on three. 1, 2, 3. Perichoresis. And what does that fancy word mean? Dance. The image of the divine dance was used to capture the mystery of the three in one. The metaphor suggests a moving around, a making room, a relating to one another without losing one's identity. You know, kind of like dancing. I have a part and you have a part. Sometimes I lead, sometimes you lead, but we've got to do it together or it just doesn't work. So Trinity means that shared life is basic to the nature of God. Or to make it beautifully technical, we could say the unity of God is nothing less than the reciprocal self-dedication of the Trinitarian persons to each other. Indeed, God is love. The divine essence is the love that binds together the Trinity. So then we could say that God is a participation. Now, does the list that Paul gives, that sort of nasty list, is it exhaustive? No. Similar lists appear throughout the scriptures, and actually in writings of the time, similar lists are also there. So historically, this isn't really a new list of vices. But when we take this list, and when we butt it up against the fruit of the Spirit, what we begin to see is a contrast. That one list, the fruit of the Spirit, this outflowing of the divine dance, starting with love. Man, if you start there, then the rest begin to link together. They begin to form this beautiful picture. And when we invest our lives in that direction, when they become our go-tos, then all of a sudden, our lives become an extension of Christ's resurrection power, where dead things come to life. Dead relationships come back to life, where we build safe and sacred spaces, where our social relationships are built around things that are good. And that, my friends, is part of God's dream for this world. And to keep in step with the Spirit is to join in on that, to join in on the divine dance. But in that first list, with those vices, it seems, some people call them sins of discord, sins that just break things up, motivations and actions that kill relationships, that create spaces that are not safe and actually destroy social relationships. Now, the items on that list might differ, but the evil is all the same, because they're all aimed at destroying God's good dream for this world. And that evil will continue to reinvent itself so long as humans decide to live out of step with the Spirit. This evil reinvents itself every time we abuse the freedom that we've been given. And every single time it leads to the fracturing of relationships. Are we using our freedom to damage relationships? Or are we in step with the Spirit, using our freedom to bring wholeness to relationships? So from there, the big question for you and I this morning actually might be this: where is God asking you to dance? Where is God asking you to be an extension of Christ's resurrection power, bringing dead things to life? Maybe you see it at work with some of your business dealings where you're like, that's not a good thing. Or maybe you see it with family and friends and you think to yourself, ooh, if that's allowed to go on, that's going to boil over and be trouble. Or maybe you're taking a look at something that's actually happening in our city and it's really struck you and you're worried about what's happening and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I hope someone does something about that. I wonder if in those moments, I wonder if that's your dance card. I wonder if that's in those places that God's calling you to join him, to be an extension of Christ's resurrection power, to bring people into the crossfire of God's love. Or let me ask you the same question in a different way. Where do you have the opportunity to abuse your freedom and to reinvent evil? I mean, this is stuff that you can just see coming from a mile away. It's not even new stuff because I know my patterns and you know your patterns. I know where I usually go and you know where you usually go. So I say that to say, I'm with you. I get this. I feel it. So maybe next time, for you and for me, maybe we try it the other way. Maybe we try it God's way. To operate in such a way that actually brings life and doesn't end it. Or perhaps you're here this morning and you're facing into this already. It's heavy on your face, heavy on your heart, heavy on your shoulders. And maybe what you need this morning from the scriptures is an encouragement. So let me repeat Paul's encouragement to you. He says, keep walking in the Spirit. Keep at it is the feel he has, especially when you don't want to and when you don't feel like it. Because maybe, just maybe when we learn to love in that way, it may help us understand and experience God in a whole new way.